So this one is going to be concentrating on classes that may be canceling, ones that are close to your go, no-go number, and the concept of maybe thinking about raising the prices on some of those classes to help with your go, no-go number. And just to preface this, as a reminder, our go, no-go number is the decision point of whether we're going to run the class or not, and that should be based on the production costs of the class. Have you covered your production costs? And it doesn't count your promotion costs, your marketing, because that money's spent, it's gone at this point. So we're talking about production costs, and that would be the cost of putting on the class itself, paying the instructor, renting a room if you need to do that, whatever materials you might need to buy. And another way to think about it is these are costs typically that if you canceled the class, you wouldn't have to pay. So if you're running it with certain classes, if you're running into an issue where you're coming up right up to that sort of go, no-go number and you're having to cancel a lot, so not classes where there's nobody in it, but classes that have a few people but just not quite enough to run them, the concept is how can we make that go, no-go number go down a little bit? So we can run them with fewer people. And one way to do that is to raise the price a little bit. And the thought is that, okay, you have a few people in this class, and they probably would have paid a tiny bit more than they currently paid to take the class. So by raising the price a little bit, maybe let's say to the next price break or to the price break. If you're offering it for 40, think about offer it for 49. So this little raise will help you be able to run the class with a few or even one less person, and that can make a big difference. So by increasing the revenue, you're covering more of those production costs, and therefore you're not going to have to cancel quite as often. So we wouldn't talk about a drastic raise, but a small raise in prices for classes that are close to that go no go number can go a long way. And yeah, like we said, not a great thing if you're not getting anybody in the class at all, but these are ones that are sort of right on that decision point. Another thing to think about is, so in order to lower that go, no-go number and be able to run more classes, you either can increase your revenue of the class or you can reduce your costs of putting on the class, your direct costs. So the other things to think about is if you're getting close and you've raised the price a little bit, how can we reduce the cost of putting on this class? So that could be, if we're renting a room, maybe we could find somewhere that's a little bit cheaper. Maybe the materials costs are too high. You could even go to the instructor and say, hey, we're close to running this class. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel it, but maybe would you consider taking 80% of the price that, the amount of money we were going to pay to do this class, and we actually get to run it, you get to teach it, you get paid something, or otherwise we're going to have to cancel it. So just thinking about ways to help when you're close to a go, no-go number, and canceling classes when you're right on that edge, ways to sort of push you over. And shockingly, it doesn't seem like you'd want to raise prices on a class that's not a huge winner, but raising them a little bit can really help with your cancellation rate in the end, really, because your go no-go rate and numbers really have a direct impact on your overall cancellation rate, and then vicariously your overall satisfaction with customers who are getting classes canceled on them. So something to think about.